Hey, it's Murray Birch with Murray Birch Real Estate Photography in the San Diego area. And today I just wanted to go over some color cast issues and how to fix them. And you can see in this photo down here, there's some daylight coming in. The daylight is very, very blue. And over here, where the lights, the interior lights are hitting everything, it looks normal and warm. And so we're gonna see how to take the photo from here to here. So here's the ambient frame that we'll be using, and this is the lit frame or flashed frame that I used. So we'll take it into Photoshop, open as layers in Photoshop. There's another one down here that we'll go over how I fixed that. Okay, it's in Photoshop. There's the flash frame, ambient frame on top, and go ahead and put a black layer mask on that. You can do that by holding Alt and pressing the layer mask button. And I'm going to go ahead and disable that, and I think I'm going to change it to luminosity just so we have the light values and not the color from that layer. Okay, so we can see already that the flash frame is decent, but right here it's a little bright, so we'll just start bringing that natural ambient light in. And I'm not going to worry about the couch here or the basket. I'm going to end up cropping that out in the final photo. I'll just keep painting this in here. Get a little bit of the shadow on these stools over here and underneath the island. That looks pretty good. And yeah, it doesn't look too bad. I mean, there's still a little bit of color cast down there. And so what I did to take care of it is I actually went with a curves layer, and I go into the red channel, bring up the red a little bit, warm it up, bring out a little bit of the blue, and that'll add some yellow or some warmth. Okay, we can see before and after, before and after, and that actually looks like it added a little bit too much red. We'll go to the red channel and just bring that down a little bit like that. Maybe just take a little bit more of the blue, and I'm not going to use that in the whole thing. I'll just invert that layer mask, just hit Command I, and I'll just paint it in. Like on the floor, it was looking good here. And you can see before and after, just warms it up a little bit. And over here on this island, warm that up a little bit. And on the floor over here, Okay, so I still have a little bit of a glare and a little bit of color cast issues down underneath the bench there, so I'm going to add a new layer, switch it to color, and I'm just going to sample, make my brush size a little smaller. Control Option on a Mac, and then click and drag, and that'll resize your brush. So I'll just hit Alt and I'll sample a color over here on the floor that I like, and I'll just start painting that in down there. And we can always take it down a notch with the opacity. Working non-destructively on a new layer. So that's a nice warm brownish color down there. Looking good, and I'll just back off the opacity just a touch so it looks natural. So here's the before. You can see it took out a lot of that blue color cast right there just with the color layer, and there's the after. And I'm going to zoom in here, hold down Z while I zoom in, and then when I let go my brush will be back there, and you can see the blue color cast here on this seat as well. So I'm just going to do the same thing on my color layer, resize my brush, sample from a neutral area here, and just paint over that blue color. Get a little bit of color from over here, just paint over, color from here, just paint over it. And here's the before and the after. Command 0, that'll resize it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. On the final photo that I finished, I would desaturate the ceiling up here, take care of a little bit of the blue up here, and the warmth over here, just kind of neutralize that. Yeah, I can just go ahead and show how to do that as well. Hue saturation, and just take the saturation down. I'm just looking at the ceiling, and that looks pretty neutral. Actually, you can do that on a color layer as well. Either one works, hue saturation or color. If you just pick a neutral color like white and start painting over your ceiling, it just neutralizes. White is a neutral color, so it just neutralizes those colors in the ceiling. You can probably hear my Wacom tablet scribbling there in the background. Okay, and on the ceiling, there's the before and after. Before and after. And even on the cabinets over here, a little bit of reddish color that's a little bit strong. I can neutralize that. Okay, and I think put a little bit more of that ambient light right there, just like that. Maybe up here a little bit, and on the ceiling. Yeah, that looks good. Alright. Take it back to Lightroom. I'll hit Command S, W. That'll close it. Okay, so just go into the develop, hit R for the crop tool, and normally I would fix the verticals. You can see that vertical's pretty off. You can actually do it here in Lightroom as well. Hit auto, see what that does. That usually does a pretty good job. I usually prefer to do it in Photoshop, but okay, so just crop that down. Just leave that whole bench in there. There we go. And probably don't need all this floor over here. Just crop a little bit of that out. Leave that clock face in there. And make sure that light is all the way out. You don't want just little pieces poking in there. Just doesn't look professional, I think. And I enter, and that looks pretty good. I would probably take care of a little bit more the blue over here and down here, but you get the idea. Alright, let's go to this one. Yeah, this is just a photo that I was thinking about this composition, and I ended up not liking the composition, and I moved the camera back and over to the left a little bit, and got this whole area a little wider and from a different angle. But I ended up delivering it just as an extra photo, and so I'll just show how to take the blue color cast out of this table right here. Command E, take it into Photoshop. And this isn't lit, this is just an ambient. Like I said, I was just testing out the composition, see what it looked like, and I was going to take an ambient to start, which is what I always do, and then I ended up not liking the composition. Anyway, here, okay, so you could start with curves or something like that, and you know, take the blue out, and it's not going to do much. Or hue saturation, blue. It's not bad. I mean, I'm just looking at the table there. And hit Command I. And I think I'll get the magic wand tool and just make a selection of the table here. You could take a pen tool and outline the whole thing, but we'll just go up here to the quick selection, and that looks pretty good. Just feather it a little bit, about 1.5 pixels probably be good. And I'll hit Alt Delete, and that'll fill it with white. Command D will deselect. Hit B for my brush tool. I'm going to brush a little bit out right here, because where this lamp was hitting the table, it had a natural warmth, natural warm color tone down here. So I'm gonna use that and just bring some of the color back, since we desaturated that right there. Take that blue back out a little bit. Okay, so we'll just do the same thing, get a color layer, new layer, switch it to color, and just sample one of these natural colors down here. If you go to your layer mask, we had that selection, remember, right there. If you hit Command and then you click on your layer mask, that selection will be highlighted, and so we can just paint in, actually on our color layer, we can use this color down here and just paint that color in. Actually, I'm gonna go around here. Deselect so I can get this over here. And just paint that in. Grab a different color maybe. Just like so. If you drag your mouse or your stylus on your Wacom tablet, if you just drag up on these eyeballs, it'll turn them all off. However many you slide across, it'll turn them on and off. So you can see before and after. Okay, I got that sample, the color sampled. Just paint in, and you can still see the grain because all we're doing is using the color. We're not adding any texture or anything like that, just the color. Alright, so if you hold Alt and then click on this eyeball, it isolates the layer that you click on when you hit Alt. So just hit Alt and eyeball, and you can see before and after, before and after. And if we group those, Command G, lower the opacity. It'll bring just a little bit of that blue glare back just to make it look a little bit more natural. So in the final photo I added contrast and took some of the highlights out of this area up here. Cloned a little bit of this pillow and ended up cropping straight down through here. So I cloned this corner of the pillow out. Obviously cloned myself out, this flash that was sitting back here. And I'm going to show you a quick sharpening technique that I came across by accident when I was playing around with some frequency separation. If you don't know about frequency separation, you can look that up, see how to make that action. And anyway, so it separates your photo into textures on the top layer and then colors and shapes on the bottom layer, the low layer. And I was playing around with it just to kind of see like before and after on a photo that I was editing. And whenever I turned this low layer off, it just like instantly sharpened the whole photo. I mean, you can see just it looks blurry now, and then turn off that low layer on the frequency separation, everything just is like crisp and sharp, but maybe just a little bit too much. So what I do just to sharpen photos is just bring this opacity down somewhere where I like it, and that just adds some pop. Adds some pop to your photo. Just some nice clarity around the contrasting colors here on the pillows and everything like that. So here's the before and after. Zoom in a little bit. You can see before and after. And just something that I came across on accident one time, and I was like, hey, that's a good sharpening tool. Use that. Alright, so that's how to take care of color casts in your photos for real estate. Hope that was helpful for everyone. And feel free to subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.